Buckle up, everyone, and welcome to Carpool Rugby League, a show where two rugby league tragics talk everything rugby league on your way to and from work. I'm Shane.
And I'm Mieke.
Welcome aboard and on with the show. Well, Mieke, Dad-Daughter Edition Mark 2, you're back. How'd you go? What did you think of last week?
Good.
Good? Yeah? Cool.
It was great.
Excellent. Well, some good feedback. Everyone loved you. Apparently.
That's what I like to hear.
That's good. I suppose some big news coming out today at 7:45 this morning. If you're a Titans member, you would have got this email from Titans that says David Fifita has elected to take up the 2-year extension offer and re-sign with the Titans for those 2 years. Massive backflip, Mieke.
Well, he chose it for family reasons, definitely not career reasons. Like,
what are you trying to say about the Titans?
He'd have a much better chance with the Roosters if he wanted to win a premiership, but I get he wanted to stay where he is for his family.
Yep.
And I think Titans will definitely have to put it in now to kind of show that they can be a good team and that they can be a top 8 side, even top 4, but
they're a long way from that.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. When I was listening to the radio this morning and I was talking about this, I was bewildered. Like, even on the radio, they said, all we've got is this email that says, Fifita's with us, what's happened to the Roosters deal? And what we've since known is, very early on, apparently, that we know that there's a 10-day cooling off period with Clint Newton and the Players Association were very big on trying to get this 10-day cooling off period. And he's elected to do things within the 10-day cooling off period. I hopped in the car at 2:45 when this broke. By the time I hopped out of the car, I got a message that Uncle Nick had basically said, well, we withdrew our offer from him. I got a gut feeling that if they had withdrawn their offer before this was announced, the Roosters would have said so.
Yeah.
I got a gut feeling the Roosters were caught short here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it all happened so quick too. Like Penrith threw him an offer.
I can't
rejected
believe
that.
Why would Penrith want him anyway?
Yeah, I guess.
Would he have been a good fit at the Roosters?
I don't know what he would have really done.
So I get what you're saying, because I find that in the last 3 years he hasn't been at that form he was before the Titans. No.
He hasn't really stuck out to me at all.
So biggest backflip since Cherry Evans, staying at the Titans. I suppose everyone who hates the Roosters is cheering. At least the Roosters in a really precarious position. Just this week, they've told Tupanua that he's free to look elsewhere. We know Crichton. It's been said that Crichton was very upset with the whole way this all played out. That all of a sudden he gets signed. There's no consultation with players. I suppose. At first, I agreed with him, and as I keep thinking about it, I'm like, he's a senior member of the team. I get that, but do coaches or coaching staff need to talk to players in positions if they're gonna sign someone? Like, if because he's a second rower, should the club have said within the next couple of days we're signing Fifita, or does it, or you're a player at the club? If you're playing your best footy, you're going to get picked. Build a bridge.
I'm in two minds, because you should be performing every week, and that's just part of your job, like you get different people come in, different people go out. That's part of life. But I think also, when you hear someone new's coming in, it can also be a wake-up call to the players as well. Because you look when Whiten came to South, everyone started playing, the centers started playing better. Isaiah Tass was an absolute gun.
Yeah.
His form improved drastically. So
they're all in trouble now.
yeah, they're kind of going down. But yeah, I don't know what happening.
I think with Crichton, well, it's a precarious position because if Tupanua decides he wants to go elsewhere, and Crichton goes, well, I'm giving you the middle finger, I'm leaving because I was treated poorly.
Yeah.
That actually leaves the Roosters with a bit of a hole. This time last week, it looked like they had the signature. Well, they did have the signature of Fafita. By the end of this week, moving forward, they could be without. They could be without them. And I know a lot of people would argue, well, this year have they been solid first grade? I think Crichton's form this year's been pretty good. Tupanua's maybe not so. I know at the start of the year they were maybe on the fringe of things, but I think it sort of does leave the Roosters in a bit of a precarious position moving forward. But Kalen Ponga's dad seen having coffee with Nick, so that could be a watch this space as well. Interesting to see what happens regarding payments and what's being paid to him from Newcastle.
Yeah,
with the cap. I think in the next coming weeks, we're going to see something interesting happening.
It's definitely like watch this space kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we also know that when Ponga was sort of negotiating his deal with Newcastle were very keen for Ponga to get a manager. Ponga's dad said, I can do it. I'm wondering if maybe, I don't want to say he's out of his depth, but maybe, it's time for something. But interestingly, is this now the contingency plan for Tedesco? Is this a cover for Keary, who's leaving at the end of the year? So it's interesting to note. What is also very interesting is today it's been dropped that looks like the world's worst kept secret, which is Wayne Bennett, coming to the Bunnies. Nothing in signature yet.
No, Bennett's not here to mess around. Okay?
Very candid, but he says until he's got pen to paper, it's not happening. South officials and everyone else around the traps knows that he's probably going to go to Heffron Park. What's your thoughts on Wayne Bennett going to South Sydney?
A huge gain for South. I think he's definitely the man to bring them back up to where they should and can be. Like, South definitely have the potential to do a lot better. I think they just need the right coaching. They just need the right form, fitness. But even Bennett said, what did he say? He said, I wouldn't be talking to the club if I wasn't considerate.
Yeah.
And I think that's
speaks
enough.
Volumes.
Yeah, I think that speaks for itself.
I'd ask you what your fail of the week was, but I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be Latrell Mitchell's miss at fullback, which led to the tries. I'm thinking, crystal balling it. I know Griffo and I spoke about this, I think a few weeks ago. If we're saying that Bennett comes back, Bennett would probably be very keen to grab the services of Sam Burgess again.
Well,
rated him highly.
Sam's team over in England is doing
Warrington.
so well.
Well, I'm a follower of the English Rugby League, and when you look at what the Warrington Wolves have done, look, they could basically bomb everything from here on in, and it's still a fairly successful. It's still a fairly successful season. They're on equal first at the moment. Of course, the Wigan Warriors have a game in hand from their bye when they played Penrith. Warrington are 8 wins, 3 losses, on 16 points with, if I'd said at the start of the year, Warrington's going to be in the same list as Wigan, St Helens and Catalans, you would have said you're joking, basically, and they are. They're up there with them, and it's not if they've had an easy draw. He's had a few stoushes with officials and whatnot in the background at games, so he's definitely passionate. Looking at what he's done in England and knowing that Bennett is a massive fan of the way Sam works with people and with the club. If he comes back to South Sydney, there must be some people on the board, Blake Solly, the CEO, and certain players who would be very, very worried about his return and the fact that his return will be buoyed and fully supported by Wayne Bennett, who does not take any crap whatsoever.
Well, yeah, you look at Sam, like, Sam's played the game. He's a premiership winning player. He's...
Clive Churchill medal?
Yeah, he's an incredible coach.
Well, he's shown that, hasn't he?
And he's shown it. Yep. So I think if anyone has a problem with it, it's just because he'd make them work harder and tell them to, like, pull their heads in a bit. I'm
telling you now, if Sam was the head coach, and one of the things I've seen the Warrington side, they're fit.
Yeah.
And that's probably something about the South Sydney side. So look, two bits of really big news there out of the day. That Fafita looks like Fafita's going to stay at Gold Coast. That's a gigantic turnaround. That's huge.
That's a plot twist.
That's huge. And moving forward, Bennett at South, also in the back of our minds, Miike's origin.
Yeah, because it's not far now. Like, it feels like only the start of the season, but not long. Like, it's May. Jeez.
Around the corner. They're around the corner.
Sides.
So we've got to start thinking about sides. What I think the big problem for the Blues is in the halves with the amount of injuries they have.
I think there hasn't... So, last year, there was probably just as many injuries, but now it's such high-profile players, and yeah, I think... Well, who's out? Travojevic is out.
Well, you've got
Turbo.
Turbo's out. Cleary's out.
Hines,
Gutho. Yeah, or Hines will look like Nico Hines might be back. Pappenhausen. There's just a series of people. One other coach that we neglected to talk about, also putting pen to paper on a 4-year deal, is Ricky Stewart. He's going to be a Raider until 2029. That's
right. That's big.
Yeah. You look confused. If you're a Raiders fan, are you happy? Are you sad?
I just don't know who would replace him, that's all.
They got a recruitment problem at the moment, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a recruitment problem. Troops on the park is where they're struggling. That's the way I see it. Should we talk about the games this week? Oh no, we haven't gone through last week's games. What am I doing?
Okay.
What am I doing? Jeez, well, to go through last week's games on Thursday night on a bit of a boil over. I felt I was actually found myself, although I picked the Seagulls, I was cheering the Dolphins in the end. The Dolphins won 30-24 over the Seagulls. Panthers 16 over the Dogs.
Smaller margin than what I thought, but...
Could I say this? Penrith got the 2 points. I think the Dogs actually probably won...
Like, morally.
The favour. Yeah, like that whole idea of if they went to Bluebet, it was a horrendous night. There's probably one time where they let the ball bounce on the sideline.
They were
close. They
got the job done, but they didn't get the job done.
Yeah. That was it. The Eels, that was a...
They're in trouble.
Yeah, 30-14. Yeah. The Broncos smashed them. The Knights, beating the Tigers in a confusing game, 20 points to 14. South Sydney going down 28-14 against the Dragons. There were elements of South Sydney's game that were horrendous.
It was
The Dragons,
dumb.
Jaden Sewer, ex-South Sydney player, Jaden Sewer was the standout forward in that game. Lomax definitely played, and Hunt, great game for them. Well, anyone who said the Sharks couldn't beat anyone in the 8 couldn't beat anyone around them. They're on top. They're on top, so they couldn't beat anyone above them. But the Sharks beat the Storm 25-18,
That's actually
shutting up a lot of their critics.
That's quite insane.
Yeah, in Melbourne.
I think that's really proved themselves to be like a good contender this year too.
They've shut out a lot of their critics. Roosters in what was in a bizarre game, 38-18. It was like 20-0 after about 5 minutes, it felt like. Warriors come back, but just there was too many points on the board. Warriors in trouble.
Yep.
Yep.
They're not at where they used to be.
2018 the Cowboys. Titans 20-0 halftime. From what I understand, Todd Payton gave the sprays of all sprays at halftime. Apparently, media didn't even bother walking into the dressing room. They didn't even bother talking to Titans officials. They could hear it. Apparently, most of the speech had words with no more than 4 letters in them. He really, really went to town. It got them back to 18 points, but the Titans held on.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Like, you just saw in the second half, Cowboys absolutely like tearing it up. And there was one try it was so dumb. Like, missed opportunity from the Cowboys. I think Valentine, was the ball kicked or was it thrown? Anyway, Valentine Holmes had the ball and he was running and he was over the line. If he just fell over, it would have been a try, but he just kept running in the in-goal.
Yes, he got the ball knocked out.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you doing? Just fall over and you have the try.
And you know what? What makes this win even more interesting, Kieran Foran, 2 try-saving tackles in the first half. Really, when you think about it, they were able to lock them out.
Yeah.
Well, they were the games. The ladder looks like this. Sharks on their own, 18 points. 8 wins, 1 loss. Panthers 16, Storm 16, Dolphins 14, Roosters 12, Broncos 12, Raiders 12, Seagulls 11. That's the 8. In 9th place, we've got the Dogs. 10th place, the Knights. 11th, the Dragons. Then in 12th, we've got the Cowboys. 13th, Eels. 14th, the Warriors. I think they were in a lot of people's top 4. Eels were probably in a lot of people's top 8. Cowboys the same. Tigers are in at 15th. Titans are in at 16th. And South Sydney just absolutely
not so lucky last.
Looking horrible in 17th on their own with a differential that's just becoming unacceptable. They have now the record since the rugby league began of conceding over 28 points a game for the amount of games that they've done. So that's I think of all the games we've had so far, all but one. That
and South
tells you
also had their bye.
That tells you the issue and the culture issues that are at that club. Let's talk about this week.
Yeah,
shall we?
I'm down.
Right, Friday. Magic Round, Mieke. So Magic Round, every year we say we want to go, but we never get there. Next year we're going to Magic Round, right?
This time last year I was like, I'm saving for next year. This year,
definitely we are going to go to Magic Round.
Didn't quite get there, but she'll be right.
Well, Well, yeah, I just it's amazing. Incidentally, if you're, I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's this weekend actually. There's of course, if you're someone who lives in New South Wales, you'd know about the Beer and Footy Festival. Henson Park have hosted a few of these. They're great. They're great. If you haven't been to one, really get yourself to one. They're actually pretty good. They've got a Magic Round coming up at North Sydney Oval, and I'm just trying to see when it is. It is on the 18th and 19th of May. So that is this weekend. Yeah. So conjoining with the other Magic, that's great. So New South Wales Cup, basically it's North Sydney Oval, New South Wales Cup. Just to quickly go through it, I suppose, why not? Panthers play Warriors. That's at 1 o'clock. And I love it. What I love about the Beer, Footy and Food, the Beer Footy Festival, is that they actually not only tell you who's playing, but they tell you that at halftime there will be a high ball challenge. Remember those? I don't know if you've ever seen those. When I was a kid at the footy, it was always catch the bomb. So I had this challenge. They get 3 punters from the crowd.
Oh yeah.
And they get the machine.
I think I've seen videos of them.
They shoot the bomb up, and people always slip over because they didn't have cleats. It's hilarious. Game 2 at 3 o'clock is Raiders Dragons. Game 3 at 5 o'clock is Bears and Souths. The Mario Fennick Cup. Halftime and full time, fans allowed on the field.
Fun.
Like good old days. On Sunday, Game 1, kick-off at 11 o'clock, is the Maggies versus the Eels. Game 2 at 1 o'clock is the Blue Bags, the Jets versus the Knights. Game 3 is the Blacktown Seagulls, of course, versus Canterbury. So if you're unable to get to Brisbane and you live in Sydney, try and hightail your way over to North Sydney Oval, because they are great. If you've never been to one, people, go to one of those. All right, Magic Round at Suncorp in Brisbane at 6 o'clock on Friday. No Thursday football this week, guys. No Thursday games. I think that's to cater for the late Sunday game, which is great. Like a bit of late Sunday football. Peter Volandi's actually exploring the idea of Perth or PNG, so that's interesting. As another team, Perth, I hope, be good to get another time zone happening. Yep.
PNG should be good.
Yeah, it'd be interesting too.
Would their national side play, or would there be?
There'd be like a football team, like the New Zealand Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Friday, 6 o'clock, 7th place Raiders play the 9th place Bulldogs. And what's going to be, I think it's actually going to be a really good game. Jordan Rapiner in for the Raiders. Big plus for them. They're looking pretty good at 1-17. A few people in on the extended bench. I suppose for the Bulldogs, Connor Tracy is at fullback still, playing pretty good football actually. We've got Matt Burton, Drew Hutchinson at 6 and 7. And that's something that's stayed the same. A lot of their ins are on the interchange bench. They've gone for a 1-17. That's a pretty stock standard fit for them at the moment. With looks like Blake Taft on an extended bench. I find this game is going to be really interesting. If this is at Canberra, I probably would say, yeah, it's just too much for the Bulldogs to travel. This isn't at Canberra. This is at Brisbane. The weather's going to be a bit warmer there. The way I saw the Bulldogs play last week, I thought they actually played a really, really solid, controlled game of football.
They held on well.
They did, and they did all the little things right. My criticism of the Dogs last week is I felt their kicking game at times just didn't go well.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Burton had a bit of time. He put up these spiralling bombs that would just worry Penrith. I worry a little bit about the spine of the Raiders. I think it's a decent spine. I think it's got talent. I just don't know whether it's got the punch. Morgan Smithy's in at lock. He's played some very good games. Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, Tarpany, Papali'i, their forward pack is very good. They're going to have to be because Vilami Kikau really is in some career-defining form at the moment. Reid Marnie playing well. I'd love to see that guy kick out of dummy half.
Yep.
Some of the things he used to do for Para out of dummy half kicking, 40-20 and the like, you just don't see it in this side at the moment. I wish he'd kick more out of dummy half. I've got the Dogs in this one. Meeks, who have you got?
Well, Raiders are coming off a bye, so that's pretty good for them because they should all be fit. They should all be
rested.
They should all be well. Dogs held on exceptionally well. I wasn't expecting that small of a gap between the
7
two.
day and 7 day turnaround as well for the Dogs.
Yeah, so
It is because you can't flip the thing is, I always go home team, flip a coin home team. You can't because it's a magic round. So
I'm gonna go. I think Dogs. I think after last week, the performance they put on.
All right, both on the Dogs.
Yep.
Okay. So we're now moving towards the 8:05 game, the Seagulls versus the Brisbane Broncos. Whose home game's this, Meeks?
Well, isn't we a?
I blew up about this as soon as I found out where Magic Round was. I said I'm going to look at it. I'm going to click on it, and it's a Seagulls home game.
It's meant to be a Seagulls home
Kidding
game.
yourself, the NRL.
No,
the NRL are kidding
but this
themselves.
is just dumb. This should just be a good opportunity to give the
They
Broncos
should just say
a home game.
And I know they but one off. You know what?
It's not that deep.
It's right. I think it should just be a Broncos home game. But anyway, one team playing some good footy, the other team fading,
drifting off.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? The Seagulls. I think that I actually think they're in a bit of trouble. Ins for the well, I'll tell you who's out because that's a shorter list.
Yeah.
Tom Drabojevic out. Jason Saab out. For the Seagulls, Kula is in at fullback. We've got Paulo on the wing. Brook, I know. There's a lot of traffic going down his way. Garrick's in at centres though. Ruben Garrick.
Yeah.
Brooks, Cherry Evans, and everything else after that looks like it's a pretty stock standard deal for them. For the Broncos, Billy Walters out and Tristan Saylor out. What we're basically looking at is Mariner in at number 5. So you've got Oates and Mariner wingers, Mam and Madden, of course, there last week. They're looking somewhat Tyson Smoothie in at number 9. I look at these two sides and I see, regardless of who the Broncos are putting in, they're a team that just seem to be able to control the game. They're understanding how to win. They're doing the little things well. Seagulls, on the other hand, are fading badly. They've got this second half problem where they just can't put it together. When I look at where they are on the table, I'm actually surprised. The Seagulls, for me, feel like a worse team than what they might be. I don't know. They just seem like a team that just fades in patches. I don't see the Seagulls, unless there's something significantly significantly different happens with this side, I see the Seagulls as being one of these teams this year that are in the contest for 60, 65 minutes and just falls away.
Yeah.
Broncos are different. I actually think it's funny. We can talk about, the losses in at fullback. Reece Walsh is there for the Broncos. But you can talk about the backline losses for them. I think it's the forward pack for me that's going to really punch holes through. The Brisbane forward pack at the moment are just doing these little things right.
Yeah.
I think the bench for the Broncos looks pretty much even with the Seagulls. I just think the forward pack are going to lay the foundation for the Broncos with their backs to fire. I got the Broncos winning this, and it could be a cricket score.
Yep. I definitely think the Broncos for this one.
Yep.
Easy.
That's pretty simple, that one, wasn't it? You watch Seagulls win.
Yeah.
I doubt. Tell you what. Okay, on Saturday, 18th of May at 3:00, we have the Titans versus the Knights. This is an interesting game now.
It's so tricky because Knights are like they're a 1/2 team. They're a 40-minute side.
The big problem is both teams have some big outs. AJ Simpson, Phillip Sammy, Kieran Foran are out of the Titans team. You have Daniel Society of the Daniel kind out. Tyson Gamble out. However, they do have Society of the Jacob kind coming in. Cartwright's there. For the Titans, Sam Verrills goes into halfback. Chris Randall into 5'8". Aaron Shoup comes into the centres. Aaron Clark is at hooker for them. It's one of these sides that just without. If they had their full strength side, I would have said, and of course, Keno Kinney is in at fullback. If they had all their ins, I would have said the Titans. They're on a high.
Yeah.
They won last week. They've got Fafita back.
They won last week, but did they win last week?
They got two. Well, they got 2 points.
Yeah, but like.
You reckon?
No, because looking at it last week, they were in it. Like they were. 20-0 by half time? What happened? Their defense just got bad. I think they have to be able to hold on if they want to be like a good winning side. But in a perfect world, right, Titans should be doing well because Fafita wants to if I was Fafita, I'd be wanting to really pump it out to kind of show that hey, it's a good decision I say to the Titans. Titans are going places. We're going to be a good side. Maybe not this year, but definitely next year we could be good contenders.
Bradman Best, incumbent Blues player, has to fire this week. He has to more or less be man of the match. And my way of thinking, he has to be man of the match for the Newcastle Knights to win.
Yeah. Because now it's... Yeah, Origin time's tricky.
It's getting round to that season, isn't it? Can I tell you?
But I'm going with Titans either way.
I'm going to Titans too. I don't know what it is. I've had bad karma with the Knights this year. I don't know. When I zig, I zag with them. I pick them, they lose. I don't pick them, they win. I just think that the Titans...
Gonna be close.
I think Desi's going to have this air of really good vibes this week. We've won. We've got the 2 points. Fafita's here. Let's go out and do it.
Yeah.
And I just think that
hit it out.
The Knights are like this. The Knights are like this melancholy teenager at the moment, where they just you don't know whether they sort of mope on the field, and when they do well, they're sort of happy, and then when they don't, they cry. I don't know what the Knights I think that, like I said, for us to be wrong, I think Bradman Best needs to be man of the match. If he's man of the match, he probably starts thinking that he's got a spot for Origin. But anyway, it's watch this space with this game. That's going to be a really
very close.
That's going to be an interesting watch
because they're so evenly matched. At the moment.
That could be a golden point game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that could be a golden point game. This at 5:30.
I'm excited.
Is now going to be a cracker. The Sharks versus the Roosters. It's got all the makings of
a good game.
Of what will end up being an absolutely great game. There's some big outs. Hamunueli out for the Sharks, as well as Cade Dykes.
Ooh.
Joey Manu out for the Roosters, and with Sand Smith.
That's big.
That is big. Brandon Smith's in at hooker. We're looking at Tupanua. He's named on an extended bench. I don't know if he'll crack this team. Looking at who's there. This has all the hallmarks of what's going to be an absolutely cracking match, considering at number 7, Nicho Hynes named for the Sharks. I just think
Sharks.
It is great for the Sharks. It's really looking like this team. I've got a soft spot for one of the guys from the Sharks. His name's Cam McInnes.
Okay.
When he came through the juniors system at South Sydney, and he sort of was he was sort of stuck behind Isaac Luke and was this young up and coming hooker. We just went, this guy's tough, and him and Isaac Luke used to work so well together. They'd train, do so many things. When he left South, you understood it. Fast forward a few weeks, Isaac Luke's announced that he's leaving to go to the Warriors. I was crushed at the time. Look, I know we had Cookie since then.
Yeah.
But you just had this hard knockabout player who just never gives up. He's got a heart as big as Far Lap. If he's not in a Blues jersey this year, there's something wrong. I don't care whether you bring him on. If we've got an issue at 9 because Appy's not fit or whatnot, and our faith in Cook really isn't there at the moment, he's got to be on the bench. He's got to be somewhere in that Blues side. He just is the epitome of what you want in Origin. He is I think it's no coincidence that he's a guy who probably looks at another player who I admire greatly, who's played for the Sharks, in Luke Lewis.
Yeah.
That hard-hitting, started in one position, went to another, just evolved around his career, so he was always in form. I just think he's brilliant. I think he's the key. Blake Brayley, about 4 years ago during COVID, when we saw the, actually it might have been just before COVID, my mistake. Just before COVID, when we saw the trial matches, he was the guy. I remember saying, I said on the podcast, Blake Brayley, he was the player of the trials.
Yeah.
We are now seeing what that guy can do. Look, Nicho Hynes needs no introduction. Mulitalo, sorry, put an I there where it doesn't belong. Katoa, Ramian, they're all been playing well. Will Candy at fullback. On the flip side, we've got the Roosters.
Tedesco with Origin.
That's what's happening there. I don't know.
If I was Tedesco, I'd want to be playing my best, like the best of the
best. You're going to have a crack.
Because everyone's saying that Dylan Edwards should play fullback, and he's probably thinking, well, I'm the captain. I've been here the longest. What about me? Like, where's the loyalty? But he should just get like a guaranteed spot, you know. I think
he's got to earn it, doesn't he?
After last year,
like as a Blues fan, how many times do we have to watch Blues lose?
Yeah.
Like we got to
He's getting
Edwards
old
is the best
too.
player. If Edwards is the best player, put him in. If Tedesco wants to be there, he's got to start being the best. He's got to be one of the best. Right. One guy I think will be there, Swatali'i, on the wing most probably. Dom Young's been playing some great football. Kiri Walker halves. Actually, I saw it in the last game where Kiri, he ran the line and pushed a player for Dom Young to run through. How it wasn't a shepherd was a joke. Brandon Smith. We've got Crichton and Butcher, Victor Radley. On paper, they are a brilliant side. Who have you got winning this one, Meeks? Who do you think? Sharks?
Sharks. Straight up Sharks.
Really?
Yep. Well, after last week's game, easy.
You know who I've got winning this one? I've got the Roosters.
No.
I just think that... I just think... If the Sharks win this... If the Sharks win this game... Hold on to your hats, mate, because they could be. Yeah, if we're looking for the team to knock off the Panthers, and we've been saying it's the Roosters, it's going to be the Storm.
We've been saying it's the Roosters
it could
every year.
The bolter could be it's the Sharks.
Like what last year, we're like, Roosters have to win this season.
If the Sharks win this game, they're 9-1 on 20 points.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the best starts to. If this isn't the best start they've had, this has to come close.
They've got their form at the right time.
Well, I see. Have they? What if they've peaked too early?
No, I think this is the start of their peak because they've really found their.
Well, one of the things is we've been very critical of the teams they're playing. Now they're in this hard. Now they're starting to get into this hard part of this draw for them. They have to perform, don't they?
I don't think that game last year was a fluke. Not last year, last week. Yeah. Okay, I don't think that game last week was a fluke or anything.
Okay.
I think they've worked out that they have to perform well. Because they actually are contenders if you look at the way they play.
They're there. I think they're a top. They're going to, unless the wheels dramatically fall off, they're going to be a top 4 side, surely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, the next game, far out. 5:30. No, 7:45. 17th last Rabbitohs take on the 12th placed Cowboys. Now let's read the team list. There's some.
Who isn't out?
Well, there's some interesting. Yeah. Alex Johnson's on the wing, so he's back. AJ's back. Searching for that all-time try scoring record. The way South Sydney going,
he's back.
He's not going to get it because they're not scoring tries. Latrell Mitchell at fullback. The reason why I say that is his effort last week. Really, if he wasn't Latrell Mitchell, he wouldn't be playing in this week. He'd be in New South Wales Cup. Gagai on the other wing with Isaac Thompson in at centre. So you got Whiten and Thompson at centres. Walker and Dion Tuapa made his debut last week. Fair game, not seeing the world of light, few errors, but was there. Right. Moali, Kepi, Kolomatangi I thought was average last week.
He's been average all season. He's done not much.
Can I say this? South Sydney looked vastly better when Tallis Duncan was on the field.
Yeah.
So why the hell is he not starting lock?
He always... Yeah. Tallis Duncan, he just always carves it up. He he goes out there and he gives it 120%.
Yeah.
And that's 120% more than half the other guys on the field as well.
Shibasaki moved to the bench, reserves bench, that is. Looking on the other ledger, these guys just seem like they're 1 to 17 nearly every week. It's rare that they have this, Drinkwater's at fullback. They've got Dearden, Townsend, Reece Robson, and then Ruben Cotter. Of course, JT of the Tamalomo kind. He is on the bench. I look. If you're a fan that, interestingly enough, actually, I wanted to mention this. Jake Clifford on the extended bench. That is quite interesting.
Yeah.
If you were a neutral fan, you just say Cowboys, because the Cowboys are a team who's finished strong last week, didn't get the chocolates, but still finished strong. Their 1 to 17 are pretty much the same. They've got people like Drinkwater, Holmes, Dearden, in the sides who playing some very good football. Their forward pack are fairly strong, and yet when you look, I'm just struggling to think who the hell would you pick in this game. As a neutral fan, you pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm picking South.
Why?
Because I'm not a neutral fan. And because they're at the point where they're one loss away from their next win. If last week's
They've
game,
had a fair few amount of losses.
If last week's game wasn't a massive wake up call for some of the and this is stupid. I know as I'm saying it, I sound like an idiot.
No, I get your
thinking. If last week's game, right? If they go into video on Monday and don't learn something from last week's game, then they won't win a game for the rest of the year, South Sydney. They won't. I think when you've got this player-driven model, there's no accountability. I'm hoping that Hornby doesn't have that. I'm hoping there's a bit more accountability where, like, if Latrell Mitchell looks at his game last week and goes, "Oh, that was great," he's kidding himself.
Yeah.
And I doubt he would do that. I think there were moments in that game last week where South appeared to do well. The biggest problem for me is that the forwards just aren't rolling their sleeves up. What I think from this game, 2 players on the interchange bench, which I think are going to make a massive difference, are Tallis Duncan and Tom Burgess. Why Tane Milne is at number 17 is just beyond me. Unless he's there so that he can get another 5 weeks somewhere. Look, I got South for no other reason than my heart lies with them. but neutral fan, I'd be picking the Cowboys. Who have you got, Meeks?
Well, look, South.
Who would you pick if your pocket money?
Who
would you pick if your pocket money was on it?
Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think Cowboys will get the job done.
Yep. All right. That rounds off Saturday of Super Sunday of Magic Round. Sorry, that rounds off Saturday of Magic Round. Super Sunday of Magic Round opens at 1:50. Warriors versus the Panthers. Freddie Lussick, Rocco Berry, and a massive one for the Warriors. Sean Johnson, pec injury. Liam Henry, Nathan Cleary out for the Panthers.
That's also pretty big.
That's massive for the Blues. The Nathan Cleary one, when he went up the tunnel last week, my heart sunk a bit. it's what we're finding is that, okay, if we just go through the team, Tuapiki is in at fullback for the Warriors. We have Nickel Clockstart is in at 5'8". Tamari Martin is halfback. Egan is there at hooker, which is a good thing for them. Their extended bench is struggling. They're a bitter team at the moment. They really are a team of that's. They are a bitter team at the moment. Marcelo Montoya comes in on the wing for them, so they're really they're almost making holes to plug holes at this point in time. Penrith, on the other hand, they've got a couple people coming back. Isaac Tago is coming back from a suspension. We have also on an extended bench, Tyrone Peachy, Sonny Luke there. Scott Sorensen is on an extended bench because he's injured. So we've got Jack Colin at 5'8", Jerome Luai wearing number 7. I don't care. Penrith win this by a country mile. When you got a team like the Warriors who are now inventing ways to lose, I think what the biggest problem there is, and like we said, they're making holes to fill holes. I've got the Panthers winning big time.
Same. I have Penrith as well.
All right.
No explanation needed.
No explanation needed. On the 4 or 5 game on Sunday sees the Storm playing the Eels. It's more who's in for the teams than who's out. Xavier Coates named for the Storm, where you have Cartwright named on an extended bench interchange bench. My apologies for the Eels. They're the two big ones as far as 1 to 17 go. It's becoming a very dire situation for the Eels. I understand that they've got some issues when it comes to their side. Why? When I look at their reserves bench, Rimu Greg, I think he probably deserves a spot in there somewhere. But anyway, looking at the Storm again, they lost last week.
I think Storm's probably going like, what's going on? Like,
yeah,
what's going on here?
I think a team with someone like Cameron Munster in it, Harry Grant, Christian Welsh in the prop. They got people like Josh King, Sean Bloor, who's really come of his own. We've been sort of praising him over the years. I know he's had some injuries. I just think that the Storm have this one. I think they're going to wear the Eels down. I actually don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
It's going to be high-scoring for the Storm.
I actually think it's going to start off fairly to and fro.
Oh.
And then the Storm's just going to wear the Eels down and in the end just run right over them. It will be in the end, I think.
I think... Look, the winner's definitely going to be determined in the first 5 minutes.
Really?
When it's going to be like, my guess...
12-0.
Yeah, 10-0.
Really? Okay. All right. There we go. Well, we both got Storm, just doing it in different ways. Last game on Sunday. Sunday ticket sees the West Tigers versus the Dolphins. This is an interesting game. This is one that really I find really strange. Probably the key out for the Roosters. Sorry, the Tigers is is John Bateman. Isaiah Papali'i also, but John Bateman is a big out for them. They really, I think they're going to really struggle. It sees their sort of back row looking like Fainu, Seyfarth, and Twal. For the Dolphins, they've on an extended bench named Edric Lee, so I don't know if he's going to crack the side. He seems to be named in and out at the time. Key one, at number one for the Dolphins, the Hammer's back. Hamaso
Fins up.
Yep, Tabu Ifido, he's back. He's in the side. This is a really important game for both these sides. The Tigers seem to show a lot of promise. The Tigers seem to have things at hand, and they have really slipped. They have really slipped in recent weeks. And whilst they haven't lost big, they've lost. It's funny. They're still a team that doesn't quite know how to win, that knows how to lose but doesn't quite know how to win.
They're definitely
Dolphins, on the other hand, they're starting to win these little moments. They're starting to win these little battles. This is This is another home game for the Dolphins, as far as I'm concerned. I've got the Dolphins winning this one. I've got them winning because I actually think their forward pack is going to lay the foundation.
Good foundation.
Yep, and I think their back line is just going to run right. I actually think this is a pivotal game for the Tigers. If they lose by 4 or win, they could be going up this season. This could be the game that is the straw that breaks their back. If they lose this game by 10, 12, 14 points and the Dolphins run over them, this could be the straw that broke the camel's back regarding their season. And this could be yet again another Tigers team that really is relying on other teams being worse so that they don't finish last. I got Dolphins.
I have the Dolphins as well, but I definitely think Tigers won't make the top 8.
They're not going to make top 8.
No, but
I think I would think a successful season for the Tigers is finishing 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
At the moment, they are playing like, they're not playing as poorly as Souths, but they're definitely playing as if they belong down in that bottom 4.
I think Dolphins are going to run away with it too.
All right, well that's the games for this week. I hope your team wins, unless you go for the Cowboys, in which case I hope your team loses. But other than that, I hope your tips are going well. Mine are going absolutely horrible. Any tipping compliment that costs money, it's now nothing more than a donation. I'm having a shocker, but we do have some good games this week, some interesting games, and we've got some Origin leading games, and not just for New South Wales fans. I think there's Queensland fans going to be looking at what their forward pack might look like. Backline may pick itself. I think their forward pack and interchange is going to be interesting, but I think for me, it's about saying, okay, who's going to put their hand up this week and want to put on the Blues jersey? So that's going to be interesting.
Definitely going to be a performance-based week.
We're working on another project in the background. If you're a motorsport fan,
yes,
keep your eyes peeled for this. If you do like your motorsport, we're in the initial stages of a podcast that's basically going to center around Formula One, supercars, bit of moto, bit of rally, but keep your eyes peeled. We're not gonna let anything out of the bag
slip yet.
Just yet. We're in the initial stages, but if you are a motor racing fan,
all things, Formula One, V8s.
Yep.
Anything that has wheels check out the podcast.
Yep, so we're going to let you know more information about that as it drops. Mieke, as yet again, I was going to say, as always, it's a pleasure to catch up with you, but we live in the same house. So that sounds,
Nice to see you too.
That sounds stupid. So as it was yet again awesome to be doing this podcast with you. And everyone, will see you next week.
Cool.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.